You're listening to Binjang 91.5, and it's time for Tech Talk with Matthew Dickerson. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning, Tony. I've been missing you, Tony. I haven't talked to you all year.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it?
It is.
2 weeks is a long time.
It is a long time, yes. I've been missing our weekly fix of technology.
Yeah, well, it's given you a bit of time to think about things. So what are we expecting to see in the coming year in technology, do you think?
Yeah, look, a fair few things, I think. One of the things that I see that's already progressed fairly well last year, but I think we'll see a lot more action on it this year, is the whole world of virtual reality and augmented reality. And many people think that those two are essentially the same thing, but there is a significant difference. Virtual reality, or VR, takes us into another world altogether. So last year we saw a lot of things happening with VR holidays, for example. You couldn't get on a plane, you couldn't get on a bus or a train and go somewhere. You had to stay in lockdown, but you wanted to experience some of those wonderful places that are out there around the world. So you got into this virtual reality world and you got transported somewhere else and really got enveloped in the sound and the vision of that VR world. Augmented reality has a mixture of your real world that you're in and some sort of virtual world. So the simplest example is you might be looking in your lounge room and you want to put some new furniture in there, and there are furniture stores now that will allow you to take a piece of furniture, and while you're looking through your phone and your camera, you can actually put the piece of furniture in your camera view so you'll see what that furniture looks like in your actual lounge room. It also does things along the lines of measuring, so you can see that your wall might be 3 metres wide and the lounge you want to put in is 2 metres, so you can see the gap that you might have at one side there and move that bit of furniture around. So I can see a lot more progress around that, especially that augmented reality. Virtual reality has been done fairly well, and I played a fair few VR games over the holidays with my son, so the VR world is going quite well. But I think that augmented reality world, combining the better graphics we've got and the better computing power we've got, I think you'll see a lot more progress in this over the coming year.
Well, I might have to tidy up the lounge room before I decide to do something with paint or maybe even floor coverings.
Yeah,
That might be the only thing. It'll force us to clean up our act, won't it?
That's the problem, isn't it? When you've got your camera looking at your real environment there, it might look a bit messy coming through there trying to put other furniture in.
Yeah. Now, educators found 2020 an incredible challenge. So what can they do in 2021?
Yeah, it is a real challenge, I think, in terms of that education. We'll still see more remote education, university, schools. There's still a lot of people, when school goes back, when university goes back, that'll be trying to teach people remotely. And teachers have been fantastic at being able to connect with students, work out what they're thinking, whether they're paying attention, whether they're passing notes in class. But suddenly in the virtual world, they were thrown into a whole different era. And I think that's one of the things we've talked about it through the year or through last year, Tony, where there's some technology there that actually just gauges the attention level of people connected remotely. And that's really the tip of the iceberg. I think we'll see a lot more development in ways that educators, teachers will be able to talk to a camera, be able to talk and deliver their information and know that people at the other end are paying attention, presented in such a way that it will be enthralling, engrossing, and really hold the attention of those people, because there's a lot of distractions. If kids are sitting in their bedroom, there's a PlayStation in the corner, there's maybe mum or dad out in the lounge room, so there's a lot of distractions there that might take away from that education. Educators have got to change the way they do things, and I think part of the way they'll do that is through technology. So I expect to see a lot of development here, and what people will be able to do by the end of the year I think will be dramatically different to what we're seeing now.
Well, the coronavirus, it's changed everything. And working home from is something that people are looking at by choice rather than because of the lockdown, aren't they?
They are, and I think people wanted to work from home by choice before COVID-19 came along, but there were a few things standing in their way. One was their employer. So a lot of employers said, we've got this great work from home policy, but the reality was they didn't really want anyone to use it. It sounded good in their marketing material, but they didn't really want someone to use it. The second part was the technology probably wasn't developed far enough that people could go home and easily do a video conference, or the security might not have been good enough, or their connection, the internet connection, whether it be NBN or 4G or 5G, none of those may have been good enough to be able to work from home. But suddenly when the pandemic came along, we had to learn how to work from home. We had to learn how to work from home very quickly. as things start to go back to normal, whatever normal might be, Tony, I'm not sure what that might look like, but as things start to go back to normal, the real challenge here will be, will those employers who had people working from home, will they let them keep doing it? I mean, I've said for a long time that work is something you do. It shouldn't be a place you go to. You could go to that place by choice if you need to, but you should be able to do your work from, well, literally wherever you want to be able to do it from. Productivity went up, especially people in big cities. All that commute time they suddenly had back, that maybe an hour you spent in the car each way on the way to work or on trains and buses, all that time you suddenly had back, and you could be more productive, more relaxed. So I think the mixture of working from home and working sometimes in the office, I think that mixture will be the ideal environment. But again, I think we'll need to develop better internet connectivity, get better speeds, particularly upload speeds has been the big issue, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah,
download
for
speeds
sure.
have been okay, but upload speeds need to get better. And security, there were some hacks or some people exposed to some scams because they were working outside that tight IT environment that their employer might have provided. So I think we'll see some development in those areas, but I hope to see a lot more people working from home as time goes on.
Oh, look, I think it's much better being able to do both, working from home and working at work as well, because it's a little bit more relaxing to start with, and it's more convenient though. That's the real great thing about it.
Yeah, and I think where we are, Tony, I don't think it's as big an issue, that commute time, but again, for many people, that commute time is a big part of their day. It dictates when they've got to leave in the morning, it dictates when they've got to come home. And it's nice if you're working from home that you might be able to actually get out and see the kids, do one or two things they might want to do. You can actually be more flexible with your time. So I think a lot of advantages there. The mental health of people can improve dramatically, I think. But it's also nice to go in the office every now and again and talk to other people who are your colleagues, who are people who understand the work you're doing. So having that mixture, whereas in the past it went from all at office suddenly to all at home, I think getting that mixture right will be really important.
Oh, that's for sure, Mel. That's very, very true. And I have to say that the 5-minute commute for me is fantastic. You know, living in Wellington is the best in the world, I reckon.
Yeah, that's right. I do have friends in Sydney that get very jealous when I complain that I got a couple of red lights on the way to work and it took me 3.5 minutes rather than 3 minutes.
Yeah. And you'll be listening to Binjang 91.5 with Matthew Dickerson and Tech Talk, so stick around this afternoon because we've got another session coming up. In the meantime, it's back to Angela.